Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for following me on my Leading, Teaching, and Parenting with Emotional Intelligence and Love podcast. It is January of 2025, and my Montessori Mondays and my Tuesday Toolhouse Tool episodes are returning. So, if any of you want to have a conversation with me and be a guest on my podcast to talk about anything parenting and education, please reach out to me. I'm happy to host you. All right. So today it's just me, and we are going to be or I'm going to be talking about leadership. Actually, this Tuesday Toolhouse Tool is on the topic of leadership. And I want to share with you a model that I actually learned at the Wright Graduate University for the realization of the human potential that I've modified and made my own, and that I use because it's an easy way to remember how to be a transformational leader, because that's all we all want, right? We don't want to be transactional leaders. We want to be transformational leaders, and being a leader is hard in any organization because there are so many things to be thinking about all of the time. So hopefully this model will be helpful for you and something that you can implement and use and successfully guide you in your journey as a leader. So all of you know that my journey and my experience as a leader has been in schools, primarily Montessori schools that I've led. So this model worked really well for me because I feel like it covers all bases and helps you remember what to be focusing on. So I'm going to share a little um, screen here so you can see what the model is. And let's see, we're going to go down here, and it's actually time. If you can remember the word time, Time, then you have your leadership um, model in place. So when you're leading a school, when you're leading any organization, really, you want to be teaming with your people. You want to be influencing them. You want to be managing them, of course, and you want to be empowering them. So, what does that mean? What does teaming, influencing, managing, and empowering mean? Well, we all know what those words mean. Let's take a little bit closer look at each one of these letters in this acronym of time. So, of course, teaming is engaging your constituents in support of a common goal and an outcome, right? You always want to be teaming with them. And if you can get people behind you, behind your vision, behind your mission, and supporting you, then everything runs much more smoothly and with much more harmony and with much more cooperation. So when you're influencing people, you're inspiring and you're motivating others to follow and participate in the vision for your community, whatever your business is. Okay, you're influencing them. So one of the things also that I'm passionate about and that I believe in is that as a leader, you want to include servant leadership in your work, and you also want to be selfless to some degree. And what I mean by that is you're looking at each one of your team members and you're noticing what they're great at and what they're good at, and you're encouraging and empowering them and facilitating their growth so that ideally they are going to be stronger leaders than you, right? If we're doing that with all of our constituents, then our organization is strong. Everybody feels included. Everybody feels like they're a strong part of a team, and the quality of the product or the work that they're doing is going to be strong. All right, you're going to be managing your team. You're overseeing the tasks and process. You want to make sure that you know everything that's going on from, I'll use school as an example because that's my niche. You want to make sure that you have a strong handle on the budget and finances. You want to make sure you have a strong handle and pulse on what is going on with the curriculum and the day-to-day instruction. You want to make sure that you're understanding inquiry, admissions, how everything that's going on with that, from wait list to retention to marketing. HR and recruitment. You want to make sure that you're able to either delegate appropriately or step into that role of how do I recruit people that are appropriate for this mission, not only your staff, but also the families and your clients, so to speak. And then you're empowering, you're releasing potential and power to individuals on the team for optimal functioning within the community. All right. So giving it back to the people is one way to say it. Making sure that you delegate and helping people feel valued. All right. So I have spoken about this in my other podcast episodes. You always want to be working in a way that helps people feel capable, valuable, and powerful. So when they're feeling capable, valuable, and powerful, um, they're more likely to want to stay with your organization. It's not always money that people need and want in terms of feeling valued. They want to be seen, they want to be respected, and they want to know that their work makes a difference and that you see it and that you appreciate it. All right, so let's go back to teaming. Remember time, TIME, teaming, influencing, managing, empowering. Okay, so when you're teaming, who are your team members? Is there a mutuality and collaboration going on with your team? Are you checking the tone and the temperature of your group? And are you making sure that everybody on your team has a voice and is able to share how they're feeling and what they're thinking? So that's more specific information about what teaming is. All right. So one way that I like to do this is by doing a personality shape test. And you can look this up. It's called the shape test for professional personalities and understanding each other better. And through this exercise, you have your team, and I'm talking about staff right now, not parents. You have your team pick a shape that they like. Do they like triangles? Do they like, there's just four of them. There's the triangle, there's the square, there's the squiggle, and then there's the circle. And as they choose those shapes, and you'll find more detail by looking that personality shape test up, and it's the four shapes. You'll understand who on your team, when they get stressed, tends to be superior. And those are also your people who are going to be intimidating to others. And that's one of their liabilities. Yet they have lots of strengths. So they are also going to be your visionaries, and they're going to be people who have lots of great ideas. And so you want to remember that so that you can put them in places of empowerment where they're feeling valued and they have purposeful activity in your organization. All right. And so if you have people choosing the triangle, those people usually get really controlling when they're stressed out. And that's their liability, but their asset is they're great project managers. So they can take those ideas of the squiggle and implement them so that they actually carry the visionary plans out to fruition. All right. Then you have your circle people, Oh, they're comfort seekers and they have a hard time with boundaries. They have a hard time saying no. They want everybody to be happy. Sometimes they don't take great care of themselves. And so that's their liability. Obviously, their asset is they're great PR people. They love people. They want to take care of people. They help everybody around them feel comfortable and taken care of and nourished. All right. And then you have your squares, and your squares are kind of more loners. They're one man band kind of people that like to kind of crunch numbers and do things behind closed doors. And they're not necessarily big team players. And that's okay because they're very, very detail oriented. And those are the people that you want to be checking your financial budgets and your information before it goes out so that all T's are crossed and I's are dotted. So that is one way that I like to start with my team so that I know who everybody is. And I know, oh gosh, these are people that are going to feel valuable if I pull them together on a committee and I have them give me all their great ideas. These are people who I can pull together into a committee and they can execute these great ideas that we've decided to take on. These are the people that are really going to take care of the people, and I want them front and center, and again, referring to a school leadership, I want them front and center with parents because they're going to make parents feel really, really happy and very welcoming. And then, oh, these are people that I know are going to be able to really hone in on the details of what we're doing and make sure that we're doing it correctly. All right. So teaming, and then you want to know about yourself too. Where do you fit in with all of that? And are you hiring people that are complementing you, right? So if everybody's like you know, for example, if everybody's a squiggle and they're all just visionaries, not much is going to get done. So we need a variety of different people on our teams, and we also want people as leaders. We want people who are going to complement our work and help us to be balanced in in our work. And it takes a social and an emotionally strong leader to recognize that, right? You can't do everything yourself. You're not always right. You have strengths, you have assets, and you also have liabilities. So let's bring in some people that can kind of balance all of that out. All right. So moving on to influencing. Okay, influencing. What aspects of your work and your daily activities have to occur in order for you to be able to influence people, whether it be in a school setting, again, your staff, your parents, or your clients, so to speak, and whatever the outcomes are that you're expecting in terms of your vision and your mission. So communication is key. Okay, I believe that over communicating is better than under communicating. You always want, it takes sometimes 7 times for people to see something or hear something before it sticks in their memory. So you want to make sure that you're getting your product out there, you're getting what's great about your school out there, and then you're doing it on a multitude of different platforms, um, including on a personal level, person to person, so that your information gets out there and everybody has a chance to hear it. And then the more that they hear the vision and mission, for example, and read about it, the more they're going to be able to recite it by memory, and the more they're going to be able to internalize what are the characteristics and qualities and skills are necessary in order for that vision and mission to take place. Rapport and connectivity. All right. So you want to be as available as you can to all constituents. Yes, it is important to delegate. And what I would say is, in order to be a strong influencing leader, delegate things that don't require you to be the face of the organization or the face of the school. So you want to be able to be available to talk with your staff, to talk, with your parents or your clients, and then also to be out in the community talking with people that are going to, be able to support your organization, whether it be the Chamber of Commerce or local libraries, or, even restaurants that host fundraising opportunities. So making sure you have rapport and connectivity within your organization and outside of your organization, because nobody is going to have as much of influence on people who are learning about your organization than the person who's most passionate about it. And that person should be you. You should be passionate and eager for this work that you're doing, to be out there and for people to know about it, because hopefully it's great work and your intentions are amazing and you want everybody to know about it. All right, contagious enthusiasm. Okay, this is really, really important because you're going to have days as a leader where things aren't going well. Maybe there's something happening with your board, or something happened with the budget, or there's a parent that's really, really upset, or there's a staff member who's about to quit, or a child got hurt, the day before. So you, have to remember that you whether you like it or not, we're all leading at all times, right? We're all leading with what we say. We're all leading with our body language. We're all leading with how we show up, even if we're not leaders. And so you, particularly as a leader, need to lead with contagious enthusiasm. You're enthusiastic about this work. There are going to be problems. Problems can be overcome, especially with a strong team from teaming, where you all can come together and engage in solution-oriented problem solving. All right. Also, as an influencing leader, you need to be predictable, consistent, and fair. All right. So it's people feel safe when they show up to an organization and they know what to anticipate from their leader, right? That leader's predictable. That leader's consistent, right? Consistently contagious with enthusiasm, with communication and rapport and connectivity. And fair, right? So you're not you're treating everybody the same. Everybody gets a chance. Everybody makes mistakes. Um, everybody can learn from those mistakes, right? People are all valued at the same level with the same amount of contagious enthusiasm. So you're predictable, you're consistent, and fair. One of the ways that I teach in some of my parenting and educational workshops to be consistent and fair is to use a kind and firm approach. And a kind and firm approach all the time, at all times. Right. So it's not just being kind when things are going well or being firm when there's chaos prevailing. You need to be kind and firm at the same time all the time. And to be kind and firm at the same time all the time, you always are prepared to acknowledge, affirm, show understanding, show empathy, and then set your boundaries. Right. And so when people come to you with a question or a concern, they know that you're going to affirm them, acknowledge them, and then you're going to be showing understanding and you're listening, and they're going to expect that you're going to set a boundary. All right. So being kind and firm at the same time all the time. One of the key words that I like to use is the word and when I'm practicing my kindness and firmness at the same time instead of but. So I know that you're feeling really, really tired and overwhelmed right now. And this testing has to take place. So we need to get the children prepared. All right. So if I use the word but instead of and in that sentence, I know you're feeling overwhelmed and burnt out right now at this time of the year, but this testing needs to get done. It negates the but negates the affirmation and the showing of understanding. So again, with influencing, communication is key, rapport and connectivity inside, outside the organization, contagious enthusiasm for the work that you're doing all the time, even when things are tough, right? You need to be modeling that everything's going to be okay and that challenges can be overcome. And then being predictable and consistent and fair so that people feel safe and they trust you and they know what to anticipate and what they're going to get, right? They're not going to be like, oh gosh, what is this? What's the leader going to be like today? Is he going to be mad? Is he going to be happy? Is he going to be dismissive? Is he going to hole up and shut his door? All right. So we want to make sure that we're communicating, developing rapport, being enthusiastic, being consistent and fair so that we can influence people to follow us and to love the work that we're doing. All right. Let's move on to empowering or managing. I'm sorry. What does it look like to manage? What does it look like to manage your team? All right. So when you're managing, we all know what that means when we're managing people, although some of us may take away different context for that. So when you're managing someone, you're not necessarily micromanaging them, but there is a time when leaders have to move into kind of coercive leadership if things are in chaos. All right. And when I say consistent and fair, it doesn't mean that we're going to treat everybody the same because not everybody's going to behave the same way. But we are going to have the same expectations for everybody, right? We're going to have the same expectations for how people show up, how people deliver our product, how people communicate with each other, how the work ethic that people display, and their ability to support the vision and the mission. So how are you going to manage a team of people in a way that facilitates a strong outcome for the vision and mission that you have? Well, one of the things that I love to do is to have one-on-one meetings with each individual staff member and making sure that they have annual evaluations and that those evaluations include goal setting. And the goal setting should be agreed upon goals between the two of you. So if you're teaming and influencing well and you're communicating well through that influencing, then a conversation about what's going well with a particular person and what maybe needs to work on should be a pretty trusting and easy conversation. All right, so what's going well? How is that person evaluating themselves? How are you evaluating them? And what goals need to be set? What does this person want? What kind of goal does this person think would be, great? Um, what, as me as leader, what would I like to suggest in terms of goals? I usually pick two professional goals, and if desired, the individual can pick a personal goal. So these performance evaluations and self-evaluations and goal setting get pushed in a drawer and fall flat if you don't keep them alive somehow. So how do you do that? Yes, these one-on-one meetings are important because you're going to touch base with your observations of how things are going and checking in on the goals. What I found really helpful is to set benchmarks for these goals, right? And one-on-one meetings are great, but team meetings are great too. So I'm going to get back to that. So everybody has set their goals for the year, and there are benchmarks. So you look at your calendar year, you look at your 12 months and say, oh, when's the end of the first quarter? So for me, leading the school, it would be in November, right? We start the school late August. In November, where are you with these three goals? Do you feel like you're a third of the way through accomplishing this goal? In February, oh, are you about halfway through with these goals? And then in May, oh, let's celebrate everyone who has been able to complete their goals, and let's support people who are still trying to make those goals happen. All right, so this is where the teaming comes back in with the managing. So yes, you have one-on-one meetings, but you're also having entire staff meetings, and you're having level in a school, you're having level meetings. So you're meeting with the toddler teachers, you're meeting with the preschool teachers as a team, the elementary, the middle school, lots of brainstorming, lots of I like to do um, child studies and or discussions of classroom management and moving into brainstorming and problem solving with everybody. And I also like to move into what we call lesson studies, where as groups, like toddler, primary, elementary, everybody signs up at the beginning of the year to take on a lesson study for one of those meetings. And then they bring a lesson that they're either struggling with or they're very curious about. They present the lesson, they're giving feedback about the lesson. And then there's a wonderful discussion about what are some prerequisites that we want to talk about that are important, and what are some great follow-up extensions, and how can we integrate this lesson with the rest of the curriculum. All right. So for your all staff meetings, I always had them on those quarter months, November, February, and May. And everybody comes together. They're provided dinner, they're provided some professional development, and then everybody gets in groups and pairs, or not groups, but pairs, and they talk about their goals with each other. So in November, February, and May, you don't want people teaming up with the same pair person, right? You want those pairs to mix up, because this also allows staff members to be vulnerable with each other, and to learn to trust each other and to share. All right, and then they share, with each other where they are with their goals at those particular benchmarks. And then at the end of the meeting, everybody comes back together and people share. Hey, I'm so excited. This is what my goal was. This is how I completed it. These are the people that helped me. Or I'm still struggling with this goal. I could really use your help. And anybody that has some great materials in their classroom in geometry. I'm still trying to create my card material, and I would really love for you to reach out to me if you have any suggestions of how we can get this done. So it's a way for everybody to team, right? So you're managing and you're encouraging that teaming and helping everybody to influence each other. All right, you'll want to make sure that you have evaluations or culture profiles or tone and culture surveys for your staff to complete so that they can tell you how they're feeling about things anonymously. And then when you collate the information, make sure that you share that in a summary form. Oh, this is what came out of the surveys. People really love this about our organization, and they love um, they love the parent education, the professional development. They love the support that they're giving, and they're concerned about the hours that the school's open, or the hot lunch, or how many meetings there are, whatever it is. So you want to make sure that you summarize kind of what's going well according to your team, what is what has been indicated from more than one person as an area to discuss. And then you bring those problem areas, for lack of a better way to say it, to the next meeting so that everybody can brainstorm and discuss and share how they're feeling about that. All right, making sure when you're managing too, that you're managing formally, like through those evaluations and those one-on-one meetings and your team meetings and your all staff meetings. But you're also informally managing by walking around, checking in with people on a daily basis, just saying hello, getting down to their level sometimes. Again, for me in a school, it's being in the classroom, seeing that there's a need with a child over in one area of the classroom, going over there to help. Or saying, oh, hey, I'm happy to do your read aloud today if you'd like to go make some phone calls or go make some materials or go get a cup of coffee. All right. So making sure you're walking around, checking in with people, and it's that walking around too that allows you to see how healthy things really, really are. How are people communicating with each other? And in the case of a school, how are the students being attended to? How are the adults that are working with that student attending to each other? What do the environments look like? All right. Preparation of the environment. A chaotic environment can tell you that somebody is in chaos. A beautiful environment tells you that somebody is joyfully preparing that environment because he or she wants to feel warm and happy in the environment and wants to prepare an environment that is beautiful for, in my case, the children, but for anybody that it is serving. All right. So making sure that you're walking around, checking in, and observing. So that's kind of the key, my keys to managing. Okay, so let's talk about empowering. Oh, let's talk about also, one of the things that you can talk to your staff about too is something that I studied in graduate school. It's called Stephen Cartman's Drama Triangle. And so if you let people know that sometimes they unconsciously assume roles to allow other people to play roles that feed what we call a drama triangle. So sometimes you have people that portray themselves as victims. They're just never happy. Their boss doesn't like them. Their classroom's horrible. Their parents are horrible. The students are horrible. They're victims. And then and they're also persecutors, right? They're persecuting whoever they're upset with, the leadership, the parents, the children. All right. And then you have your rescuers, people that will come in and try to rescue them. And what we want to do is try to break that habit that all people have in all organizations, so that we can stand back and recognize, oh, this person's feeling victimized. How do I empower him or her? Okay. Well, you move into an empowerment triangle, and you do that by asking questions. You can be blunt. I see that you're feeling, you're complaining a lot right now. Who is the person that can really help you with this? Or how can I help? Or just listen. What else? Recognize that by asking this person questions that can lead him or her to her own solution-oriented problem solving is the best way to go. So people that feel victimized are often persecutors as well. So I think listening, again, validating, showing acknowledgement is really helpful. And then, oh, I think, it sounds like you haven't talked to this person that you're upset with yet. Or what ideas do you have for addressing this issue that you're having with a problem, with a parent? oh, well, what have you tried with this child? So asking questions and stepping back so that you're not feeding the drama triangle, you're feeding an empowerment triangle. You want to make sure that you're doing that. All right, there is a book out there called I'm Okay, You're Okay. And it empowers people to realize that when somebody's victimized, they don't think that they're okay, but other people are okay. When people are persecuting, they think they're okay, but other people aren't okay. Rescuers, I'm okay and you need me, right? But you want to move into I'm okay, you're okay, everybody's okay. All right, we can all do this. I'm going to empower you to move into solution-oriented problem solving and to figure out how to address this problem in a mature, socially and emotionally intelligent way. All right, so those are ways to empower. You also want to empower your staff, your staff during staff meetings and in public settings, right? Just like we would if we were working with a group of children in the classroom. So I like to start my staff meetings with compliments and appreciations. I actually use a talking stick so that everybody gets a chance. I pass it around. We're all in a circle looking at each other. Everybody has a chance to compliment and appreciate. They can pass, of course. But people with softer voices that aren't as inclined to raise their hand or stand up to share, if they have the talking stick in their hand, they're more likely to share. Make sure that you have an agenda that for your staff meetings that is not only that's created by you, but that you're also allowing other people to bring their ideas and to share their agenda ideas um, on on that agenda. Okay, so you're empowering them to speak up, you're empowering them to bring things to the group, and then you're moving into brainstorming and solution-oriented problem solving. Okay, so just to sort of recap here, as a leader, I believe in the time model, teaming. You're always teaming, you're always influencing in a enthusiastic, contagiously enthusiastic way. You're managing, you're managing in a way that also is fostering and facilitating that sense of teaming and that sense of influence that people can, um, give each other. And you're empowering people. You're empowering people to be their best selves. You're empowering them by delegating, letting them know that you value them and that they can do some of the work that is in the leadership realm and that you trust them to do that, even if they make mistakes. And then you're empowering your staff to empower each other, right? To be their best selves, and to stay in that empowerment triangle and avoid the drama triangle. Okay, well, I hope this was helpful. A leadership session podcast, short and sweet. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, Sean Edwards at toolhouse.com. And again, would love to hear from you if you would like to be a guest on my podcast.